Hello and welcome to episode 201. Over the Hump, Begin Again, Fin Again. John Paul Jones, Shepherd Bush Empire, November 22nd, 1999. Time for Jonesy to get another one. And, yes, I know, another 1970 tape just appeared the other day. Haven't had a chance to listen to it. I do have it, and it will, unless something better comes out, be next week's. But I had Jonesy all locked and ready to go, and so we're ready to go. John Paul Jones released his first solo album, Zooma, back in like 1999-ish, followed a few years later by The Thunder Thief. This is the Zooma tour. It's Jonesy with his magnificent triple-necked guitar, badass basses, pedal steel bass, hybrid bass dobro. I mean, it's nuts what this guy has. Mandolins, of course. The triple neck has a mandolin. And he was showing it all off. It was a little... It had the sizzle, but it didn't have the dirt. Like I've said this many times, these guys need each other. Because Jonesy's stuff is a little... Sounds like a great demo. Unbelievable performance. But just needs Jimmy wailing on top of that, in my opinion. I still love it. And, on the other side of that, Jimmy's work, like, look at the Death Wish 2 stuff. It's really good. Musically, it's really good. It needed a Jonesy to pull some stuff together. And then, even on Outrider, some of that stuff could have been elevated. Or pre-Outrider, like Midnight Moonlight, for example. Something that we just covered in our Patreon episode last month. Had Jonesy been part of that experience, he could have elevated that in the way that he elevated Kashmir and Trampled Underfoot and No Quarter, in the way they help each other out. Like he had the Black Dog riff, but Robert and Bonzo and Jimmy made it all shine. It's just their component parts, and I feel the lack of each member that isn't there. That being said, Jonesy's tours are always amazing because he is incredible. And he hasn't gotten worse. No. So here's the deal. Let me make sure I had the date right. Yeah. November 22nd, 1999. Shepherd's Bush Empire. Where's that, Mark? Why, that's in London, England. Silly. It's a 2 CD set ripped into one file. Well, not one file, but, one folder. So you have, here's the set list, because you're going to be able to download this from heartofmarkness.com for free, thanks to my patrons. So it opens with the intro tape, which is just the music, into Zooma, then Goose, then Grind, then The Smile of Your Shadow, Nosumi Blues, No Quarter, Spaghetti Junction off the Scream for Help soundtrack, Steal Away, Snake Eyes, going on to CD 2, Triple Neck, Crackback, another song off the Scream for Help, and another one along with Spaghetti Junction, I think. Maybe not. That had Jimmy Page on it. Bass drums, B fingers, Jump Blues, When the Levee Breaks, Tidal, Trampled Underfoot, and Black Dog. Holy shit. What a set. Sound quality is insane. Sound quality is insane. It's perfect, actually. Let me see if it gives a lineage here. Does not look like I have a lineage. Well, it recorded on Sonic Studios DSM-6 mic, Sony TCD D7 transfer. Yeah, I don't know. It's a recording by EBR, and it is brilliantly beautiful. And we're going to listen to it. Now, this is Jonesy peeking his head from out of his shell. Not that he hides. He just isn't one to seek notoriety. Put out a solo album. Threw together a band. I don't have the people in the band here. I'll see if I can look that up. That shouldn't be too hard to find who was in his band. And successful tour. And I don't know if it was this or on the Thunder Thief tour. I know he did some, when he toured, he would open for King Crimson. Can you imagine that show? Seeing Jonesy and then seeing King Crimson? Christ. And Zooma. Yes, Thunder Thief. Yes, I dealt with that. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just jump in. And what the aforementioned Scream for Help soundtrack that I aforementioned came out in 1985, maybe 1986. And basically, the guy that did the Death Wish movies, Michael Winner, wanted Jimmy to do another soundtrack, and Jimmy was like, no, no, no. That was just to get me up and running. I'm up and running now. Thank you. Talk to Jonesy, though. He may do it. And Jonesy did it. And Jimmy did a couple of tracks with him, as did John Anderson. And for some reason, I'm thinking John Redbourne, too. But definitely John Anderson and Jimmy Page, not on the same tracks. That would have been rad. But they did work together and put out an album, Scream for Help. And it's okay. I mean, it's a soundtrack album. And in the 80s, soundtrack albums were like Death Wish 2 and Scream for Help. A couple of main themes for opening and closing credits. And then the rest is just like when the character walks into a diner and there's a radio playing, what's playing on the radio. This little ditty. So they'd have 15 seconds of bow dicka bow dicka bow dicka bow 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 to play on the radio. And that's why they're not like the soundtracks today, which are just playlists of other music. So, bit of clarification there. All right, jumping into it. Jonesy, Nosumi Blues. And it's funny, when I listen to the show, I got another digital analog converter for my laptop, because the other one, they're great little units, but you can't drop them. So, double-sided tape affixes it, won't drop. And now I'm back in my headphones rather than listening through my television, which is way better. And I was listening to what I thought was Levy, which is CD 2, track 6. But I was actually listening to CD 1, track 6, which is Nosumi Blues. And it's similar. It's played with the lap, steel, bassy guitar. You'll hear it, because that's what I'm playing. And I thought it was just Jonesy riffing before he moved into Levy. And I was like, God damn, Jonesy, nice. And every once in a while I hear something that might be resolving into Levy. I'm like, here we go. Nope. Okay. And then I realize the song's over and he didn't play it at all. And then I'm like, oops, wrong song. So let's hear Nosumi Blues in honor of the Levy that we did not hear. Why can't we hear Levy on this one? Because I'm not playing Levy. I'm playing Nosumi Blues, silly. Now sit down. I'm going to turn this car around. Enjoy. I think it's safe to say that was pretty badass. But you understand when I say sometimes it's a little sterile? It's really great. And I love when he gets down in those low, low notes. Those are the ones that aren't picked up on the microphones that record audience recordings from like the 77 tour and the 80 tour. All they pick up is the treble from his alembic bass because the subs are cranking up massive bass. But the mics can't even pick that up at all. So it sounds, more nasally. That sounded incredible. Jesus Christ, John Paul Jones. Plays everything. And I wish he had a vehicle in which to play it, but then he could if he wanted to, so he can't be unhappy. And those Crooked Vultures were great. Them Crooked Vultures. Amazing. I hope they do something again, but now Jonesy's even pushing 80. What is he, 77? That's no spring chicken. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Robert's still going, which is good. He's coming around to the U.S., more in the middle and eastern part of the U.S. this time around with Alison Krauss. I did not see him last time. I kind of wanted to, but too expensive, man. I'm not paying that much money to sit in a chair in the sun. Yeah, that's not... I'm too old, too. But, man, if he ever comes over here with Saving Grace, I will see that. But, what do I have for you now? What do I have for you now? I don't think I can remember. I can. Did I get Crackback for y'all? No, Triple Neck. We're going to do Triple Neck on this, which is exactly what you think it is, and it's awesome. So I'll see you in a moment. Again, John Paul Jones, Shepherd's Bush Empire, London, England, November 12th, or 11/12/1999. Badass. Thank you, Jonesy, for existing. Here you go.
give up some of them strings, man. It's getting beyond a joke. I can't lie on that. Back to fourth.
Jonesy, the most approachable and grounded member. So good. Jesus. Hey, you should go on YouTube if you haven't already and look at the channel JCM. John Charlie Mandingo. Because that is a gentleman who is making a Led Zeppelin series, a video series of Led Zeppelin in the 80s. And it is very, very interesting. If you listen to my Jimmy Page in 1984, parts 1 and 2, from the long, long ago, it's that kind of research level done for the whole band. And it is really good. Each episode, the resolution of the videos that he uses is yucky, probably to evade copyright. But the story is great. In each episode, every Saturday, he has a new episode, and it's about 20 minutes long. And like last week, he dealt with the Atlantic reunion and what happened and what went wrong. And there was some insights in there I didn't know. And it's an excellent, very well researched. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's one of us. And if you're not familiar with it, you should be. It's fucking amazing. JCM. Like this Saturday's 8 a.m. I don't know what time zone. On the 4th, which is in 2 days, Saturday, is going to be the 1988 Solo Tours by Page and Plant, episode 14. Very interesting. He goes into the kind of tensions, because those of us that were around in the 80s and fans in the 80s know that in the 80s, Jimmy and Robert fought publicly a lot. There was a lot of feuding and a lot of tension and a lot of bullshit between the two of them. Very much like a divorced couple. Very, very much like a divorced couple. And got some insight into why the Atlantic reunion was so shitty. A lot of it is the tension from the two of them fighting, because the night before, Robert's like, I'm not singing Stairway. And Jimmy was like, what are you talking about? We got to sing Stairway. Ahmet requested we sing Stairway, and this is Ahmet Ertegun, the president of Atlantic Records. This was their 40th anniversary concert. So it got tense. And Robert's flexing his muscles because Tall Cool One was out. He's got his new band. He is doing the power play move because Jimmy had been in charge for the entire time because it was Jimmy's band. And this is now Robert going, yeah, you know what? Who's the bigger star right now? I say no Stairway, but they did Stairway and there was a lot of yuck. But watch it. It's very good. The whole thing. Jimmy, Jonesy, Robert's solo career, Jimmy's solo career, their Arms tour, the stuff Jonesy did. He did a lot of stuff. He did a Brian Eno album. Well, he did a track on a Brian Eno compilation. Good stuff. So that is my recommendation for you. JCM. Super good. Really, really enjoyable. And nutrient rich. All right, friendos. You know you can find me on just about any podcast platform that's out there because you found me on something because you're listening to me. Unless Elon Musk has put the chip in your head, in which case you're already joined up in one of us. I don't need to win you over. You've surrendered your free will. Excellent. But, in case you were wondering if you can find me anywhere else, you can. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under the name Heart of Markness. I would love it if you joined our Facebook group. Couple hundred folks in there now. It's good size. Twitter, I would love to be your friend or follower or whatever on Twitter. Love getting to know you, chatting with you, talking Zeppelin, talking whatever, man. I don't know. And then on YouTube, I put the podcasts up there because people put podcasts on YouTube, and it's another way for people to listen, and there are people that listen exclusively on YouTube. There are also people who listen exclusively through my website, heartofmarkness.com, which is the embedded SoundCloud podcast, because I upload the podcast to SoundCloud, and then from there, it's distributed everywhere. So whatever you're listening to, it's coming from SoundCloud. But people listen on my website. Not a lot. Single digits. But they're there and they're consistent. And I'm like, okay, it's got to just be some boomer guy who loves Led Zeppelin, because Led Zeppelin's old, so their fans are old. So probably some grandpa folk, which is funny to say because I just turned 55. But, some 75-year-old dude, doesn't know the internet too well, found it, listens, and he knows to go to Heart of Markness, and that's where he goes, So thank you, sir, for listening, assuming you're a sir, because just about all of you are. But the ones that aren't, hey, thank you. Now, on that website, heartofmarkness.com, you can download most of the shows that I cover. Like my 200th episode last week, that had a whole bunch of stuff from a whole different bunch of different places. I'm not putting all that up there. Sorry. But things like tonight's show, the Jonesy concert that I read you the set list for a little while back, you can go to heartofmarkness.com and download that whole show for free. And why is it free? Well, first of all, it's free because that's the ethos of the trading community, is that these recordings are distributed free for the love of the music, not to be bootlegged, not to be sold for profit. This was shared on dimeadozen.org for free. I got it for free. I'm giving it to you for free. That's how this works. A little bit of hippiness in this, and I like it. heartofmarkness.com, and that is all because of the grace and patronage of my patrons. And if you want to be a patron for this lovely podcast, go to patreon.com/heartofmarkness, or when you're at heartofmarkness.com, click the patron button and see if anything there appeals to you. Okay? No pressure. But it'd be nice. And a laurel and hearty handshake go out to the current titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. These are the guys that pay for the cloud hosting on SoundCloud. These are the guys that pay for the cloud hosting on Mega for the shows that I share with you guys. These are the guys that pay for heartofmarkness.com's hosting and all that stuff. And the microphone through which I'm speaking to you. Thank you. Here they are. Are you ready? All rise. Thank you to Keith and Tilda, Brian, Matt, Steve, George, Big Ed, scrolling, Kenny, John from West Footscray, Picard, Knagarn, Rob from Melbourne, Australia, Wayne. Thank you for that email, my friend. It means a lot to me. What did it say? You'll never know. Brad, Danielle, Tracy, David, scrolled the wrong way, Bonzo Billy, and Mimo. Thank you, my friends. You keep me coming back and doing this. You keep me honest. And you keep me hanging on. All right, enough of that. Back to our show. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. What you gonna play, Mark? I'm gonna play Crackback. It's the show. It's the song that Jonesy collaborated with Jimmy on in 1985 for the Scream for Help soundtrack. Good track. Interesting riff. They could have done a lot with this. Oh boy, it could have been a nice latter-day Zeppelin. It's good to hear the two of them playing again. There's a heaviness to it that is just lovely. Now, what was I going to say? Yes, I played this song in my talent show senior year with my band. I did not win. But it was fun, and it was great, and it was a high watermark for that period of my life. It was so fun to play. And then we just played it, and then I just riffed, and then I just went into another little groove because playing the whole song is just very repetitive. So we played it for a little bit, and then I just jammed with another little riff. Solo, 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 solo. End of song. And if you were there back in 1986 in Manchester, New Hampshire at West High School in the auditorium that day, you would have been not disappointed. All right, guys, Crackback. Enjoy. That's how it goes.
Sorry, I don't understand your banter.
And there you have it. Tight instrumental mastery. And a nice, fat bass sound. I love hearing that. I hope you liked it. I think I've only done one other Jonesy show. I've done them Crooked Vultures a couple times, maybe. But just the one Jonesy, I believe. Here's another one. He needed to be represented. Next week will be the Bloomington 1970 tape. Thank you very much, Matt, for providing that for me. You're a good man, and I appreciate it. So thank you, friendos. I am going to be out of town this weekend, seeing some friends, celebrating my birthday a week later, but still with some good friends. Had a great time. We'll have a great time. So looking forward to it. They spoil me when I'm there. Cannot wait. All right, guys, please be good to yourselves and each other. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you very much for listening. Bye. Oh, and check out that YouTube channel I talked about, JCM. It's good. All right, bye-bye.